in the database so that you can start doing your own research. It's just a resource to have if you ever want, books. This I spent a lot of time on there. Like there was a lot of for a number of years. There's a lot of these programs you can get like textbooks. So I got textbooks galore on every graduate level physics text and chemistry text that you can think of. Um, so if you need references for knowledge and stuff, we got it. We got it, dude. We got you covered. I got a ton of stuff here. Plus, just hard to find stuff, obscure stuff, and anything related to any type of propulsion concept that's ever been devised is in here. And if it's not, then and you can add to it, then you're the type of people that we want on the team and want helping us out. So you come to the right place if you're one of those types of critics too. So, uh, yeah, I think that Adamski came before the Hannibal story that was put out. That Hannibal story was apparently counterintelligence or something that was put out in a tabloid newspaper. It was put out first in like an Italian tabloid newspapers, and then like it was picked up as counterintelligence or propaganda and stuff. So funny. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, keep trucking, guys, and if you can and you can spare something, the Venmo link there. I'm gonna see if anyone sent me Venmo so far, and let me see. Do I have anything in there? No, I didn't get any Venmo yet. So if anyone, I have that Venmo address. My Venmo is Jeremy dash yes. Okay. You want to send me some Venmo? That would be awesome. And if you want to send me Cash App, it's just Cash App Jeremy Riss, like this. So if you can send me Cash App or Venmo, that would be cool. A couple bucks for my trip. Help me buy a plane ticket. I think it's like $300-400 for a round trip. Not too much. And plus, I don't know. I might just go down one day for a day trip and not bother with the hotel, so I save money on the expense because it's just go down early, try to hit that conference and be outside like an hour, 2 hours before, so that I can definitely reserve myself a seat on that floor and try to film the whole thing as best I can, document it for the channel, and also document us going and handing out the money. Yeah. If you can send it through, send me some money through YouTube. I won't get it right away, and they take out a bunch, but yeah, that's still cool too. I appreciate the donation there, King Posey. Thank you for that. Yeah, so we're trying to get down to DC, and I want to just get more science on that floor to talk to our leaders down in Washington and the people at this conference about the real programs and opening up this blue room. I want to open up that blue room and get that UFO tech out of there.
If anybody wants to join my live stream, I'm going to be going to go to Rumble.
Scientists should be super interested in that.
Go on to Rumble if you want to follow me. There's the link to my Rumble.
Patel was involved in some
stream.
really interesting early metals research related, that could have been related to the Roswell crash.
I'll stop
super
it.
interesting. I think that's the best scientific foot forward into this that I found. I'm yet to see a stronger, more solid argument that can drive a wedge into this UFO file than that. I don't think bringing Bob Lazar to Congress, as Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp are suggesting, and others, I don't think that that's our best foot forward. I don't think that that's the best idea. I think that, you know, we should go after these programs and go after the U.S. Air Force, which was created just a couple days after Roswell. So there you have it. And yeah, I forget what they take, man. 30% ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, anyone that can help out, man, I appreciate that. I'll be looking out for your donations and emails if you're trying to get this together. And I think I got a little bit of money that can come to cover some stuff. So everything helps. And please, I just do this all on my own time. Like I am a contractor and I'm trying to work, but I try to do this in between, and I have jobs that sometimes I don't have. Sometimes I have more time and sometimes I have less time, but you know, people can look me up if they don't know who I am or don't believe who I am. They can come see, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Edward Teller and Lazar. Oh, Edward Teller. Well, I think that Bob may have exaggerated the interactions that they had together. But also the fact I think that people have exaggerated Teller's reactions to Lazar, because he's just frustrated with the story and the attention that it gets and stuff. So they take that as, oh, he's mad because he's part of the cover up or something, and that somehow he got mad. He's mad that it got out, but I don't think there's any evidence there. I mean, Teller straight up says that Lazar's a liar and he's full of crap, and I only wish that he would be more, less emotional and more clear and literal and it, but he's just such a waste of time. It's such a low level of intelligence and all this stuff, and you know what? If they keep, we'll see what happens with our friends George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, because if they accept the challenge, then obviously it's going to keep this story going and make it go further. And if they deny the challenge, then I'm going to continue to go on these podcasts and talk about these things as much as people want to ask me about them, about the research into them. And don't care. No one's going to stop that. And you know what? Eventually, they're either going to have to, stop posting that debunkers need to beware, because debunkers aren't beware. I've been calling them out for a long time now, and they just try to ignore me, and they've tried to suppress me really hard, which makes me really believe that it's part of a CIA operation. Like, I really think now at this point, that from what I've seen, that the CIA is fully behind the Bob Lazar story. I think that John Lear and the CIA and a bunch of other people helped develop the story for counterintelligence purposes. And, unlike other whistleblowers who have blown up real programs, like go to jail, they arrested this kid up in Massachusetts at gunpoint from the National Guard, leaking, some stuff recently. So you have to look into what happens to real whistleblowers, and the fact that a lot of these claimed whistleblowers are disinfo agents put out from our own government, by our own government, with armies of disinfo trolls supporting them in the false narratives that they push. And you have to understand that
if it were real life.
The government,
so it's a really cool,
really
cool effect. You can do a lot with it.
It's a pretty deep guarded secret. It's got to be, And the
way.
fact is,
I'd love to have this in my studio.
The research
here,
that is out there is not. The research that we do is not out there.
This is like next level
not
for me. And all the lights
well known.
too.
It's so obscure.
Yeah, we have full DMX control
And
lights. There's
everyone
about to
knows
be
about
a
Element
demo
115.
starting
You
here in a
got to
minute.
ask
It kind of goes
yourself,
through all the newsroom workflows and all the different things that, you know, we have
because
full
of the
DMX control the
CIA.
lights, so when they do the
And
weather,
at this
you know,
point
the
in
weather
the
can
story,
change
I'm
and
pretty
lighting
sure it
can,
is,
you know,
dude. It's got to be,
make
you
it
know,
look
like
realistic. So it's a lot of fun.
That's
it just
awesome.
seems like
There's a lot of-
CIA,
So,
dude.
you wanna take a
The
look?
cameras
Yeah,
and the
let's go ahead
brothels
and,
thing, it
take a
just
look at
seems
the
like
whole booth, and we're
that
gonna
sounds
walk
so
around.
Jeffrey Epstein, so
Oh, perfect.
like
Keep it as close to your mouth as possible.
Yeah,
that was
so
exactly what the
Ross is,
intelligence
Ross is showing off
agencies
a
were
lot of
doing
things.
with Jeffrey
You know,
Epstein.
started off
That's
as a switcher
exactly
company, so
why
there's
the
a lot of,
FBI didn't
switcher
bust him
things
sooner.
here. We got
You know,
carbonite
this is
lime,
like
Acuity. New at the show is a Carbonite Ultra 60, which is a 60
I
input,
just
25
there's so
output,
many weird
3
things
RU
about the
switcher.
story, and there's so
And
many
then,
weird things
let's
about
see, we had
the
some
popularity
other
of it and how
office
it's
hours people.
pushed
Let's see if we can find
and
them.
how other stuff's so suppressed. I think it's CIA.
Now, just so everybody knows
point.
who's
I think
watching,
it's
you're in
a
one little tiny
disinformation
corner
narrative.
of one
I think
hall
that
at NAB,
best case
walking
scenario,
through
if he
You
was
may know
brought out
he's
there
this
and shown
guy.
anything,
But he's
he was given a tour of a
Yeah.
fake facility
Guys
set
over
up
here
by
looking at
Richard
the
Doty
Ross,
out in the
Graphite
desert
Cloud Production
and brought
Center.
to a fake
So this is
hangar and
a
given
graphite
bunch of
switcher in the cloud
disinformation
in
by
AWS.
this-
So, you know,
the
NDI
same group
inputs,
that
you
went
can
on
integrate with
UFO
Zoom,
Live TV
Teams,
the
the
year
whole thing.
before,
So I got
saying all that
4 channels
stuff,
of
you
expression
know,
graphics
go
built
to
in and a couple
Bob
channels
Lazar
of clip
debunked
playback.
page.
And it's, you know,
Go
it's
to
a
the
full
main
production
page
center in
and
the
go down
cloud.
to
So
this
something we're very
Expression
familiar with
video.
here.
Watch
Expression's
this.
your family of character generators.
Yep, Expression's the line of, so
This
it
video
started
right
as a character
here.
generator. It's
With
kind of
the
grown into
UFO
a lot
cover-up
more. So
live.
right now, in
go
addition
watch
to just the
that.
normal
It's a bit
newsroom,
long,
you know,
but it's
Expression,
from 1988. It's
you know,
very
lower third, that kind of
entertaining. It was a
thing.
television program.
Expression Tessera is also running all the LEDs you see
it's
here in the
a
board.
trip to go
in
and
the,
watch
in
this,
the
go down memory
booth.
lane and see.
Yeah,
oh,
guys,
wow,
Stadiums
they
have
talk
become
about
a
lot of
switching back
stuff.
there. You see that?
The MJ12 information. The
Yeah, so what you're looking at,
aliens
that's a
from
physical
Zeta Reticuli,
Ross touch drive 1ME panel.
and this
and
government
it's
Bible
controlling
in
the
Area
switcher in the
51.
cloud.
So they talk about a whole bunch of this stuff.
And who's your
and
cloud
even
provider
Bob
for
Lazar
this
writes down-
example?
AWS.
It's AWS?
Yep.
They have his old notebook
The,
from the time period or his calendar.
I think the Graphite
on the
CPC
date
runs on
this
just like
aired
a
on
G4D,
TV,
and
he
I
had
think
a
it's an
note written
8XL
on his
typically.
calendar. So he clearly watched this.
So how much does a system like this cost?
I'm not a sales guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Email me,
I'm
and I'll
clearly the
connect you with a
CIA
sales guy.
agent
I don't
living
know.
in my
There are,
gigantic,
you know, there's
luxurious,
CapEx and
indoor
OpEx
pool
models, so you can
house
pay by the month.
here
You
in
know, you can just rent it for a month.
upscale
or, you know,
Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
A couple months,
know?
or you can buy the license outright.
Got it.
So.
Now, you'd been talking
Well,
about
I'm clearly the one
Tessera.
who's
Stadiums are a pretty big
paid.
market for Ross as
Stadiums
well,
are a
are they
huge
not?
market
Shill
for us. Yeah, so if you come
disinfo
over here,
agent trying to,
you can see that
you know,
all these displays, we've kind of
and,
simulated
you know, it's clearly not
you know,
Jeremy
arena
Corbell
kind
or
of
George
feel.
Knapp
So
or
all these displays are being run by
Bob
Expression
Lazar.
Tessera.
They've made no
and
money
then
at all off
You can see
any
this is
of
the
this.
biggest switcher panel we make, an Acuity, you know, 4-stripe panel that
Clearly
can
haven't-
fully
they
control,
haven't made
you know,
any money.
fully control the
Anyways,
whole system.
I'm gonna open
we
it up
can,
to some
you know,
Hangout
with
time.
Ross Talk, you can
You want
control
to come and
expressions and
chill, come back,
switchers
say
and
yes,
all the things that
questions.
Ross makes.
Now, have you
There's
guys also
the
started manufacturing
cat
physical LED displays?
So
Yeah, I'll
Ross
see you
purchased a
guys
company, D3 LED,
ending
last
this.
year. Yeah, so all these LEDs are Ross branded
Peace.
products.
Wow, and what's the lowest pixel pitch, the space between the pixels that you guys are able to do now?
I believe it's 1.8.
All right.
Don't hold me to that.
Thank you all for watching. Don't
I'm not
forget to
the LED
subscribe to
expert. I'm
Pop
typically the
Concrete
AR
Podcast.
expert. So
Fair enough.
And also subscribe to this
Well,
podcast.
yeah, we've
if
got a
you
lot of
haven't already.
stuff over there.
And,
Signal processing.
Yeah, if there's anything you
we
want me to cover, email me at
announced this past year a 12RU router.
Look forward to
that-
The Ultrix
hearing from
12RU.
you all
Yep,
and
yep.
Were there any new
collaborating
updates
on
that kind of
awesome
came at
anti-gravity
NAB this
research
time?
Yeah,
projects,
so
which further humanity
again, I'm
and
not
bring us
the
to the
router
stars
guy, but
and beyond, and
there's
Mars.
a software update that introduced some audio
Heck yeah.
delays and some
Oh, yeah.
HDR conversion that you can do in the router.
Wow.
So I'm excited to see the new updates when it drops.
Bill, are there any questions coming in for anyone for Ross?
I don't see any specific questions, but can you hear me in the field? Just wanted to touch base with whether our bidirectional comms is working.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear there, Bill.
Excellent. Everybody's really excited, and thanks, Bo, for giving us a tour on that. Actually, all of our systems are up and running, so we're in the process of getting ready to go very many places. Bo, this was so nice of you to give us a look into the show floor. It was really exciting. Okay, so I think we're heading back to the panel for just a moment. That's what I'm hearing.
Thanks, guys.
Well done from the field. Big systems, big TV stations. I mean, NAB was built and got its chops cut on these gigantic huge broadcast systems. Any thoughts from the panel about what we've seen here? Grant has a note.
Yeah, I really love the Ross gear. I've worked in a couple of stadiums here that are all kitted out with Ross gear, and the way that it all talks. Earlier on Office Hours, we were talking about Ross Talk as an open protocol, and actually we've had Bo talk to us about the dashboard system that Ross has as well. That's an open standard that they have, that you can download this dashboard and then control a whole bunch of things. And so I really like the way they think.
This is Ghost Recon the way I feel it's meant to be
the
played.
software looks
Ghost
really
Recon
interesting.
Breakpoint
I'm
with
particularly
the cluttered
interested in that
Ubisoft HUD feels
the
similar
cloud
to the same
switching software, and having a hardware switcher, a remote hardware switcher for that is really impressive. So yeah, that's one of the booths I would spend some time in. I'm not surprised at all that we found Guy sitting there playing around with that. That's super cool.
So we are going to jump right out of this booth and into another one. I understand Javier Alfaro from our Office Hours community is on the show floor. Javier, what are you seeing?
Hey, Bill. I'm very excited to be here. And, we're in the North Hall in one of the biggest vendors, and we're in front of Black Magic Design. They're showing like a lot of things. They're really flexing. They have this like different stations that we may like approach later, so you can see all the things that are presenting. They have like this software. They're presenting all the tools that they can have. They're presenting like the new constellations, and everything is great. It's my first time on NAB. I'm very excited. So if you wanna have like the take of the newbie of the NAB floor, you can ask him questions, and I'll be here. It's a great conference right now.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Can you hear me? Absolutely.
Right
what's your first impression of NAB as a newbie to the show floor? How overwhelming is it for you?
It's very overwhelming, and even though a lot of people have been saying like, no, it used to be bigger and everything, it's the energy is great. Like there's a lot of people coming and going everywhere. We haven't gotten to the smaller vendors. We're gonna go there as well. But now that we are standing here in the big ones, and they're like really showing great things. So it's been.
Whoops, I think we just lost your audio for a second there. I was just going to check and find out. Now, this year NAB is West Hall, which is the brand new one, just opened this past year. Then North Hall, which has been traditionally kind of one of the smaller areas. It's very close to the cafeteria and the training areas upstairs. Then Central Hall has always been kind of the middle. That was more traditional broadcast in the old days. They used to do South Hall, which was a double-decker huge thing, but I understand we've only got the 3 halls running this year. So I think everything we've seen so far has been from one part of one of the halls. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of the newer areas as well. But already everything is starting to work, and we're starting to get more and more, give you hopefully more and more an idea of what NAB is all about. It is a huge warren of okay, we just got an order that we can't go back to Field Team 1 because their audio is still having troubles. This is a first day NAB kind of thing, but you're seeing a live picture as they're wandering around here. This would be your typical experience as you wandered through the NAB for the first time. Black Magic is one of the largest booths there. That's a huge keystone of the show. And it's kind of around the periphery and in the smaller halls where you see those little booths we've talked so much about. Roscoe, you had some thoughts about how it looks so far?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, what we talk about disruptive, but in fact, the other thing is innovative. I mean, look at Ross. They've got this, huge, massive switchers. They've got large installed, and now they're willing to put it all up on the cloud. And then the other thing is, as I think Grant mentioned, then I can access it. I can access this huge iron. And Blackmagic's in the same thing. They put that, they put in a IP port on that DeckLink card, and now we're looking at taking in incredibly high-resolution stuff and being able to put it out onto IP, and it's just going to keep going.
I understand Javier's back with us with audio. Javier, are you standing by?
Yeah, can you hear me now, Bill?
Yes, we can hear you. Great to have you out there. So we're getting your first impressions as a relatively newbie to the... Yeah, we must have a delay. So what are your impressions just having seen this for the first time?
It's been great. Okay, it's been great. It's like a huge show. Like we're standing right now at North Hall, just in the entrance of North Hall, and there's like this big vendors right now. We're gonna go dive deeper into the smaller vendors later, and it's been really interesting. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of different companies showing like these new things, and like really trying to get people to every booth. So it's gonna be a very interesting show.
Nice, very nice. Well, we'll let you go wander a little bit and talk to Grant for a minute. Grant, you've been watching this. What have been your impressions? Does that feel like the NABs of the past?
Yeah, particularly the Black Magic area there. I mean, they are spread out so much. It's quite a huge booth, and then you know, not a huge amount of products. I mean, they've got a big product range, but you know what I mean? There's quite a lot of space in between that. It's quite an impressive space to be in, the Black Magic area. But I hope that they can get, or one of the teams can get to some of that new SMPTE 2110 announcement.
Hey, Raj, I'm seeing
Black Magic. That'd be great.
Let's go to Grant. Oh, I'm sorry, we were just at Grant. Jesse Mills.
Yeah, it's so as others have talked about, really interesting to see the adoption of cloud-based platforms and technologies, and some of those vendors are making that entry point low for consumers. Like, for example, the ROS graphics system can be run on a laptop with the AJA interface there, and others are bringing in video switching in the cloud, like Live View, for example, which we'll probably try to get to a little bit later. But I'm really interested to see how these areas of cloud and traditional SDI and network-based or IP video like 2110 and NDI sort of all marry together in some ways. So I think we'll probably hear a little bit more about those technologies and how they're overlapping and allowing a little bit more accessibility for people at all these different tiers, and really excited to see that. And also, you know, those overlapping technologies provide a lot of redundancy in setups where you really trust that SDI workflow, but you want to experiment with network video, you want to experiment with cloud-based video production.